We're talking about how a hero can become an absolute monster, and we're using one of the greatest tragedies ever written to do it, Shakespeare's Macbeth.
So what exactly turns a hero into a monster? I mean, that's really the core question of this play, isn't it? We start with Macbeth, this celebrated, heroic warrior, and we end with a hated, blood-soaked tyrant. How in the world does a transformation that complete even happen?
Okay, to really get Macbeth's downfall, you've got to step into his world. A world where everything is just twisted. All the values are turned completely upside down. And Shakespeare captures this perfectly right from the get-go with the witch's opening chant. It sets this dark, confusing, and just fateful tone for everything that's about to unfold.
All right, let's set the scene. Our story kicks off on the battlefield, and this is where we first meet Macbeth. And get this, he's not a villain, not at all. He's actually the celebrated hero of Scotland.
I mean, the guy has just won a massive victory for King Duncan. People are singing his praises all over the country for his bravery, his loyalty. You know, by all accounts, he's the picture of a classic tragic hero, a truly great man with the potential for an even greater fall.
So let's get a look at the key players here. What you're seeing is what looks like a totally stable, orderly kingdom. You've got the good King Duncan, you've got these loyal noblemen like Macduff, and of course our celebrated generals Macbeth and his good friend Banquo. Everybody knows their role, everything seems right with the world. For now.
But all that stability? Yeah, it gets completely shattered, because Macbeth and Banquo stumble upon these three witches, and they drop three absolutely shocking prophecies that plant this tiny, dangerous seed in Macbeth's mind, and that's what really kicks off his whole tragic journey.
So that first prophecy, that he'll become the Thane of Cawdor, it comes true, like right away. It's a reward for his heroics on the battlefield. But that just makes the last prophecy, the one about him being king, seem not just possible, but almost destined. And this puts Macbeth at a huge crossroads. Does he just sit back and let fate do its thing, or does he take matters into his own hands?
And this is where we see his ambition really kick in. You know, the play is just a masterclass in how this really powerful desire can morph into a tragic flaw. For Macbeth, his ambition starts to just steamroll his moral conscience. His whole sense of right and wrong gets buried, and it just consumes everything that was once noble about him.
This internal struggle is honestly the heart of the play. Macbeth knows killing his king is a massive, profound betrayal. But that internal fight spills out into these intense arguments with his wife, Lady Macbeth. And let me tell you, she is absolutely ruthless. She pushes him toward the unthinkable, basically by questioning his manhood, his courage, his whole identity. This famous line, it's Lady Macbeth's advice, and it pretty much becomes their playbook. Their whole strategy is to hide what they're really planning, this murderous intent, behind a friendly mask of loyalty and hospitality. It is the ultimate deception. And he goes through with it. He does it. And with that one single act of treason, I mean, he's killing his king, his cousin, and a guest, all in his own house. Macbeth's ambition just sends him down this bloody path, and there is absolutely no turning back. So he gets what he wanted. He seized the crown. But his reign? It's not peaceful or glorious, not even close. Instead, it's all about paranoia, guilt, and this escalating cycle of violence that really shows us what tyranny looks like. So right after killing Duncan, his first move is just a desperate attempt to cover his tracks. He kills the king's own guards and pins the whole thing on them, silencing the only people who might have known something.
Okay, so his next murder is even bigger. It's basically him trying to fight fate itself. He's terrified that Banquo's sons will become kings, just like the witches said. So he has his own best friend assassinated. But the guilt, it comes back to haunt him. Literally, when he sees Banquo's ghost sitting at his banquet table. Just terrifying.
But this next one, this is just pure, pointless cruelty. Macduff has fled to England to raise an army against him, so Macbeth, just in a fit of pure rage, has his entire family, his wife and kids, slaughtered. This is the moment. This is when he fully transforms from a troubled killer into an absolute monster. There's no coming back from that.
And you can see the effect on the whole country. The same kingdom that once celebrated him as a hero is now just groaning under his tyranny. The land is filled with fear, with grief. It's a perfect reflection of the corruption in its king and a total stark contrast to the good, just rule of King Duncan.
So his enemies are starting to gather, an army is forming, and a desperate Macbeth, he goes back to the only source he thinks he can trust. He seeks out the witches one last time, demanding to know what's going to happen to him.
And what do? They show him 3 apparitions, each with a new prophecy. Now, on the surface, these prophecies seem to promise him that he's safe, that he's invincible. And this is a brilliant example of what's called equivocation, basically using tricky, ambiguous language to hide the real truth, to mislead you.
And this one prophecy in particular, none of woman born shall harm Macbeth, this one makes him feel totally invincible. I mean, think about it. Who isn't born from a woman, right? So he feels untouchable. He's completely convinced that no one can kill him. But here comes the devastating twist. In the final, epic showdown, Macduff reveals he wasn't born in the, natural way. He was delivered by a C-section, from his mother's womb untimely ripped. The witch's prophecy comes true, just not in the way Macbeth, in his incredible arrogance, could ever have possibly imagined. So, let's get to the final act. Armed with this totally false sense of confidence, Macbeth gears up for his final battle, completely unaware that fate's little word games are about to close in on him for good.
And remember that other prophecy? The one about the moving forest? Well, that impossible prophecy comes true through a really simple military tactic. The enemy army advances, but they use branches from Burnham Wood as camouflage. So from a distance, it looks like the forest itself is moving toward his castle. And with that, Macbeth's whole fortress of false confidence just starts to crumble.
So he's lost everything. His wife is dead, his followers have abandoned him, and that belief in his own invincibility is completely shattered. He's finally confronted and killed by Macduff on the battlefield, and with his death, the rightful heir, Malcolm, is hailed as the new King of Scotland, and order, finally, is restored.
And so, in the end, we're left with this huge, lingering question. Was Macbeth's tragic fall totally destined from the moment the witches spoke his name? Or was every single bloody step the result of his own free will, his own choices, his own out-of-control ambition? And, that's the question that really makes this story so powerful and so timeless.